Hey guys, what's up? Today, oh wow, my hair is a mess. It's looking all goofy. I haven't looked in a mirror for a little bit. Do I look okay? Yeah, I look okay. Okay, today, we're just turning the camera on and seeing what comes out because my day has already been relatively long. Not really, but I went to town, which means it's been a long day. I got run off the road literally by an 18 wheeler today. Not literally in the sense that like he ran me off the road, but he kind of bullied me off the road. It was like a he was like riding my ass all the way down the road, and it's an 18 wheeler, and so I'm like, wow, I would really like for him to not rear end me, like run over my car. Oh my god, the gnats are everywhere. So we were going down this like 45-mile-an-hour road, and this guy passes me in an 18 wheeler. So I'm basically just pulling off the road to like let this guy go, slowing down, hitting the brakes, getting out of this guy's way, giving him plenty of room to, do whatever crazy bullshit he wants to do. And he got so far ahead of me, sorry, I can't speak English today. He got so far ahead of me that I couldn't even see him anymore. But I live in the mountains, and so we ended up going down a hill at one point, and I caught up to him going the speed limit, and then I was riding his ass for a bit. Not really riding his ass because I don't do that to people, but it's really annoying. I really, really, really wish that people would behave on the road with their giant death machines. It's like Twisted Metal out there. I do not want to die going to the freaking store, okay, guys? Driving is already not fun. Do I also need to be in actual danger while I drive? Can we all just behave? I didn't get quite enough sleep last night. I ended up talking to my mom on the phone till like 2 o'clock in the morning, and I didn't realize that we had been on the phone that long. But we started talking about religion and politics, and I got really, really upset that we were on the phone that long. It was like kind of a waste of time. Now, I love my mom. It's not like a waste of time to talk to my mom, but it feels more and more like it's a waste of time for me to talk about religion and politics with anybody for excessive amounts of time, because it's pretty rare that people change my mind on things in one conversation, because it usually ends up feeling like I'm trying to educate people on all of the things that I have like been able to gather out in the wilderness of life. And that might sound a little bit like arrogant or something, but a lot of people have some really weird takes on things. And I'm not talking shit about my mom, like, my mom is pretty intelligent usually, but it's exhausting when a lot of the people are set in their way of thinking, even if it's not necessarily logical all the time. I've started to notice um, over the past little bit that it seems like people don't really care so much about what's logical. They seem to care more about like what feels good to think. Like the anti-vaxxers and stuff. I was having a conversation with my friend, a really good friend of mine, um, yesterday. I think it was yesterday, and we were talking about vaccines, and she's kind of an anti-vaxxer, but not really, because and I kind of knew that because she's not dumb. like we were talking, and we were talking about autism because they were saying that the Kennedy guy, um, the head of the health stuff or whatever, was going to announce the cause of autism or something. Correct me on that in the comments, because I'm sure that that's not entirely what it's called, or what was going on, but that's how I understand it. Or that's, I don't have the words for it in English today, so that's what I'm calling it. He was going to announce something about autism, something supposedly significant about autism. And my friend was like, just straight up, I think it's the vaccines. And I was like, mm, like what about the vaccines? Like, is it the vaccine itself, like the concept of a vaccine, like putting a dead or weakened sickness in a person so that their immune system can overcome it, or build itself in a way that is ready to scrap with that particular illness? And she was like, no, no, that's a good idea. And I was like, yeah, I think that's a genius idea. I think whoever came up with that was, had his head screwed on straight. And she was like, no, I mean, think that I think that we all agreed, all of us on the left and the right, before COVID. I think we all agreed that big pharma is the devil. I don't understand exactly what happened, but it seems like after or during COVID, uh, it's like the left started being like, vaccines are bae, and the right was like, we don't even want to wear a mask. That was an ad. Sorry. And it's like, I kind of get the mask thing. It's annoying, but at the same time, like, just wear the damn thing. Like, I barely. I'm getting on a side tangent, but I know that I'm doing it. So we will get back to vaccines in a second. But I barely left my house at all uh, when during the entirety of the COVID pandemic, because not because of any health reasons or anything, but my car had a bad gas leak and I had sold it for like $800 to this dude. Um, and so I was stuck at home babysitting my brother's kid because my brother had just had a baby. And I love that kid. I miss that kid so much. But I was hanging out with little dude the whole time. So I didn't go out much, but the few times that I did go to the store when my family didn't do the grocery runs for me and all that, when I actually went out into public, I had like, I've spent a lot of time homeless, and so I had a bandana in my bag. And so I just grabbed a bandana and put it on so I wasn't like breathing and coughing all over people and shit. And I think I did get COVID. I got something. I never got tested or anything, but I think I did get something pretty gnarly for about a week. I was assuming it was COVID because, like, I've had the flu before, and usually that goes away in a couple of days. But whatever I had lasted, or at least for me. But whatever I had at that time lasted about a week, and it came with like a headache and all kinds of crap. And I took a whole bunch of Theraflu and ibuprofen, and kind of muscled through it. But it did suck, but it didn't kill me or anything. It didn't even come close, thankfully. I know a lot of people did die, which sucks. But anyway, back to the vaccines. I think vaccines are a good idea in theory, but I also understand that people may think, and probably rightly so, that or be suspicious anyway, that big pharma or somebody is putting extra stuff in the vaccines that are possibly dangerous or toxic or poisonous, or and maybe even intentionally. And to be real, like, I don't know if that's happening or not, but the problem is that I wouldn't put it past them. And so I completely understand where my friend is coming from, as long as I'm right about where she's coming from. So I was kind of asking her, like, is it the vaccines themselves, um, or is it that you're scared that they're poisoning the vaccines? And she was like, well, I don't think it's the concept of a vaccine that's bad. I think they're putting something in there, like mercury or something. And yeah, obviously you don't want to ingest or have a lot of mercury in your system. That's not a good idea. Oh my god, the cat's up on the table. Here, hold on a second. The cat was on the table, and the table is a cluttered mess, and my phone was is propped up on some stuff, and the cat was laying on some stuff, moving around, knocking some stuff over, which was about to knock over the phone, so I had to escort the cat. I love the cat, but sometimes he needs to be squirted. um what was I talking about? Vaccines. I think that's what I was talking about. Oh yeah, yeah, big pharma. We all know that, like, big tobacco is poisoning us. They know that they're doing it. They don't give a shit. They make money by poisoning us. Uh, big insurance. They want you to pay the premium, but they don't really want to pay out when the time comes. We all know that. So it's really not that far fetched to assume that, or not assume, but suspect that big pharma is, you know, out to get us as well. And yeah, man, like, there was some shady stuff going on during COVID. I think that we all were kind of feeling it. Even, like, regardless of whether you were woke or anti woke or whatever at the time, it was there was some dodginess going on, and I think everybody kind of felt it. I don't know what happened. I have no idea what went down, to be real, because I was at home the whole time. Like, I didn't even experience the whole COVID pandemic, the whole COVID pandemic. For the most part, I was pretty sheltered from that because I was babysitting my brother's kid the whole time. Thankfully, because my brother worked at Walmart, and he was considered an essential worker, and there were some hilarious memes going on at the time, going around, doing the rounds, um, about how, like, like, everybody stay home except for the essential workers. Y'all can die, like, you know. And my brother has type 1 diabetes, so, like, he was really kind of in danger. Uh, or at least that's what we thought in the beginning. Like, in the beginning, I thought that this could be like another Spanish flu or something. Like, I thought we were about to lose a whole percentage of the population. I was worried, really, and rightly so, because we did lose a lot of people. That was another gnat. Don't mind me. They're just buzzing around everywhere. It's not that my house is really that messy. It is, but it's also that I just live in Tennessee, and it's um, it's like this outside too. There's just gnats everywhere right now. The funny thing about the pandemic was, if you were kind of in the middle of the political spectrum or kind of outside of it, like you clipped out of the map, kind of, oh my god, the cat again. You were kind of like, everybody was acting crazy. There was the left being like, the like God invented the vaccine, and then there was the right that was like, the vaccine's going to make you explode like a frog in the microwave. And I was pretty sure that like neither of those were, all that plausible, but it was a tricky time. So I kind of understand both sides. Like, yeah, obviously you don't want to walk around making other people sick in the middle of like a giant outbreak of this like weird mutant virus thing from China. And on the other hand, like, you don't really want to risk exploding from taking this like vaccine that they literally just came up with. They they developed it pretty fast, and I've had jobs before. I know that when you do something fast, there's usually corners cut. What I think is wild is a lot of the anti-vaxxers were like worshiping Trump, but Trump endorsed the vaccine in the beginning at the end of his first presidency. And it was a funny thing because I remember hearing, I think it was the Pfizer one, I don't remember. One of them was like, it had to be kept at like negative 100 degrees Fahrenheit or something and shipped that way, which is like a logistical nightmare, obviously. And then there was, that was another gnat, sorry. I distinctly remember there being this point where they were sending out the first wave of vaccines, and you had to have two of them. That was what they were saying at the time, is that you had to have two vaccines. You had to have the first one, and then you needed another one a little while later to make sure it worked, right? And so they sent the first one out, and a bunch of people took it, and then they were going to send the next one out, the next dose out to all the people that had gotten the first dose. And somebody had screwed up the numbers or something, and they didn't actually have all the vaccines in reserve that they thought they did. There were like none or something. And so the people that had gotten the first dose, I don't think they ever got a second dose, because there wasn't a second dose. Like, the numbers were screwed up. And it was just a kind of a clusterfuck, for lack of a better term. And so I kind of get both sides. It's like, I'm not an anti-vaxxer. I think vaccines are a genius idea. But I also understand that, like, like, we thought that asbestos was okay at one point. There was a malaria pill that was given people. It was like eating holes in people's brains. A lot of drugs, you think of them being safe, because they're on the market. They're supposed to be safe. We have the FDA, the FDA and all that, and like, it's supposed to be safe, but things slip through the cracks. We have recalls all the time. There will be like peanut butter that has salmonella in it or something, and it's like, it was on the shelf, but it doesn't mean it's safe necessarily. So I totally get it, but at the same time, I really, really wish that people could be a little bit more open-minded about things. And like, I went through like a history phase, and one of the things that you find out pretty quick if you read any amount of history is that you never really want to be one of the first people to try something. Like, it can get pretty bad. Like, there's a lot of metal poisoning and things like that through history. There's a lot of drugs that we thought were fine. It turned out, there were a lot of substances that people were using to make products, goods and stuff for the market, that turned out to poison the crap out of them, like bad, like people died. So I totally understand the skepticism And I think a healthy amount of skepticism is good, but obviously people went a little bit overboard with the pandemic and started saying some pretty off the wall stuff. We got a whole, it seems to me like we got a whole generation of prophets out of the, you know, the COVID era. And it's wild. It's wild. The flat earthers and the like the flat earthers came around before COVID, but like it kind of blew up. It's wild. It's just wild. So anyway, I guess that's what the video is about. I had no plan when I started talking. I just kind of started talking, and that's when what's been going on with me. That's what's on my mind apparently today. So I hope that you all enjoyed the video. I'll talk to you later. Have a good one. Bye.